In the world of Percy Jackson, there are a lot of powerful demigods to rank and talk about, but what about the original source of all their heroic capability? I've already ranked demigods, maybe a few too many times, villains, and Olympians, so in this video, let's rank the top 5 most powerful Greek heroes in Percy Jackson. Coming at the bottom of the list, we have Laertes. I'm just gonna call him Lit. And I know that a lot of you either don't know who these characters are or forgot they ever appeared in Percy Jackson. So I'll give a short mythology breakdown and Percy Jackson breakdown for each hero. Lit is the son of Midas, the gold touch guy, and Demeter. In ancient times, he challenged people passing through his cornfields to duels, earning himself the title Reaper of Men. This hobby of course ended once Hercules beat him during one of said duels, but he gained a lot of sword fighting experience and skill from his time dueling. In Percy Jackson, Lit was resurrected in the Heroes of Olympus when Gaia reopened the doors of death and found his way to his father Midas. In The Lost Hero, Leo, Piper, and Jason crash land at Midas's house, and after Leo and Piper have been turned to gold, Jason challenges Lit to a duel for their lives. Lit, of course, agrees, going back to his past of dueling in the cornfields. He puts up a good challenge, but Jason eventually wins. Surprisingly, Lit's story doesn't end there, and he gets a really nice redemption arc in the Trials of Apollo. In the Trials of Apollo, Lit is saved by Commodus. However, after being betrayed by Commodus, the two fight. Lit beats Commodus twice before taking refuge in the way station, where he gains the trust of Apollo and his team. Currently, I believe Lit is still at the way station, hoping to redeem himself for his past allegiances. Next, and spoiler alert, not as nice of a story as Lit, we have Chrysaor, son of Poseidon and Medusa, brother of Pegasus, and Geryones, the two-headed Triple G ranch owner from the Battle of the Labyrinth and the Son of the Star's father. In the Mark of Athena, Chrysaor and his pirate crew attack the Argo II. He disarms Percy, the best swordsman on the ship, so quickly that Percy can't even see the motion. Percy recovers his sword and attacks again, but Chrysaor disarms him again, not even winded after their battle. The crew only managed to beat him and escape due to Frank's shape-shifting powers and Percy's quick thinking about dolphins. Chrysaor, as shown by his brief appearance, is probably the greatest swordsman who ever appeared in Percy Jackson, with how easily he beat Percy, one of the series' best sword fighters. As a son of Poseidon, he also has water control, where he managed to wrest control of the sea in the Mark of Athena to prevent Percy from capsizing his ship. Chrysaor, in mythology, also defeated some of the same powerful monsters as Percy, like the Chimera. And as a cool fact, Chrysaor's name means golden sword, and he was the first to use enchanted gold as it was previously called as a weapon, before it was renamed imperial gold by the Romans. But yeah, after he gets thrown off the ship by Frank in bear form, we never see from him again. Starting off the top 3, we have Athena's dream child, Odysseus. Odysseus was the guy who had the idea to use the Trojan horse trick during the Trojan War to infiltrate Troy, and then he went on a 10-year journey back to his country Ithaca, which you might have heard about. I think it was written in a book called the Odyssey, which a lot of the Sea of Monsters is actually based off of. For example, Odysseus fought and outsmarted the Cyclops Polyphemus, like Percy, Annabeth, and Grover did at the end of the book. He also escaped and outsmarted Circe, navigated the Sirens, and passed by Scylla and Charybdis, which Percy also does in the Sea of Monsters. Odysseus also washed ashore Ogygia and met Calypso, and near the end of his life built an astrolabe to rediscover the island, which Leo uses to do the impossible and find Calypso again in the blood of Olympus. Odysseus doesn't really have any powers other than his intellect and his limited combat skills, which Annabeth admits to in the Mark of Athena, but he's so well-rounded as an adventurer and has so much experience that he serves as an inspiration for demigods and Olympians alike. He had Athena wishing he was there to help her in the Mark of Athena. Obviously, Annabeth looks up to him, and Leo considers Odysseus the most clever demigod of all time. For number 2, we have Theseus, and in my opinion, he has the coolest story of any hero on this list. Theseus was sent on a quest to reclaim his spot as heir to the throne of Athens, in which he had to defeat villains known as the 6 labors of Theseus, which include many enemies that Percy and members of the 7 also fought, such as Scyron and Procrustes. After taking his spot as the heir, Theseus volunteered to enter the labyrinth in order to save Athenian youths who were sent there during Athens' war with Crete, promising to return home with a white flag raised if he was successful. Theseus goes into the labyrinth unarmed, guided by Ariadne's string, finds the Minotaur and defeats it in pretty much the same way as Percy did. However, he was cursed to forget to raise his white sail on the journey back to Athens, and because of that, his stepfather threw himself into the sea, thinking Theseus had died. And that's how Theseus became the king of Athens. Anyways, Theseus makes an appearance in the Battle of the Labyrinth when Nico D'Angelo summons his soul. As for his powers, he's a son of Poseidon. In Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes, Theseus proved himself to have similar powers as Percy, in that he could breathe underwater. So it's safe to assume that he can also control water as a son of Poseidon. He also has something of super strength, as he overpowered popular enemies like the Minotaur and Procrustes, lifted a club which was covered with about 20 sheets of solid bronze, and carried the Marathonian bull on his shoulders, which Percy said weighed about 500 pounds. I also find it a little funny that Percy has done a lot of the things these heroes have done, but at a much younger age and with a lot less experience. Anyways, no surprise here, but Hercules takes the number 1 spot. Just to name a few of his accomplishments, he slayed the Nemean lion, like Percy, slayed the Hydra, also like Percy, cleaned the Augean stables, like Percy did in the Battle of the Labyrinth, captured Cerberus from the underworld, captured the Cretan bull, was sent on a quest for the Golden Fleece, like Percy, beat Lit, like Jason did, beat the Trojan sea monster, fought a number of gods like Apollo, Ares, Hades, and Thanatos, and beat the giants Porphyrion and Alcyonius, which were also defeated by a number of the 7. Hercules is a son of Zeus and was the original owner of Percy's sword, Riptide. In the Mark of Athena, Hercules meets the 7, guarding the entrance to the Pillars of Hercules. He gives a quest to Jason and Piper to find and return the horn of Achilles? I don't know how to say that. In exchange for the 7 to get permission to pass into the sea. Piper and Jason succeed, but in the end, Piper chooses to keep the horn, and Jason and Percy manage to fight off Hercules long enough for them to escape.